I'm buying more ZBCN. Let me tell you why. We've got two things that's coming end of September, early October. Okay, so we got mica compliance. So on their compliance roadmap, Zebec have acquired a compliance firm called Gatenox. They bought it and it helps them get their compliance checks done because we are now into a more institutional grade, fully regulated, banks are getting involved ecosystem. Love it or hate it, the utility coins, big institutions like Wall Street, BlackRock, and the big banks all trying to control crypto, and the fully regulated ones that are ISO 222 compliant at least will survive the bull run, in my opinion. Okay, most of these coins will die off. Institutional grade companies that are compliant and they're fully trusted and fully backed, they will survive. This is why I like Zebec Network, because they are aiming for the ISO 222. They're thinking long term. If you don't know what ISO 222, it's basically like a global messaging standard that's changing. Our current financial system is called SWIFT. So if I wanted to send you money across the world from UK to the US, well, guess what? It's going to take 3 to 5 days. It's going to take a big, huge fee. All the banks around the world speak their own digital language. And when they message each other, there can be huge confusion. And if there's huge confusion in money, it can completely mess it up, which costs a lot of money. But the ISO 222 standard is when all of the banks around the world speak the same digital language. So most of the banks and financial institutions have agreed that this is the new standard and it's rolling out November 2025. A lot of people are frustrated about the price of Zebec, but if you look, most of the market is red. It is red. There's nothing really you can do on a crap red market when September is usually a bearish month. Zebec is a utility coin. For those of you that are new here who are used to meme coins and not used to the slower price action, Zebec is going to grow not from retail. It's going to grow from the big institutional money. This is why they are getting their compliance checks done. SOC 2, MICA, FCA, and ISO 222. The institutions do not invest in these firms unless they are confident. Okay, they need to go through these compliance checks. So ISO's rolling around in November 2025, and Zebec are aiming to get their ISO compliance by the end of the year. You got companies like RippleNet that are ISO 222 compliant, Stellar Network, XDC, Quant, HBAR, Cardano, Chainlink. You may think they're all boring cryptos. They are being adopted in the real world. And remember, the coins themselves aren't ISO 222 compliant because ISO is a messaging standard. It's not to do with money. It's not to do with crypto. It's about financial messaging to make sure that it's right. It's completely fearless. Anyone can build on it if they contribute to the ISO standard. Being ISO 222 compliant is good because, you know, if a stablecoin narrative does come in, which Zebec focuses on stablecoin payroll, well, guess what? You know, once the banks roll in and the institutions roll in, they want control of the crypto market. Banks can issue their own backed stablecoins. This is why we've got the Genius Act that came out, which gives institutions the green light. And if you're compliant, well, guess what? Zebec's on the right side of history. They can speak the same digital language and can communicate with the banks, and the banks and financial institutions want to work with them. So this is why we've had that recent partnership with All Unity, which is a venture firm backed by Deutsche Bank. You know, that is just the tip of the iceberg. But the main thing I wanted to point out was that Zebec is going to the Sibos event in Frankfurt, Germany. So that mica compliant euro-backed stablecoin was just the tip of the iceberg. But take a look at this clip of Simon, the CEO, confirming that they are going to Sibos on the 29th, ending in October the 2nd, and that more big partnerships are on the way. Take a look at this.
And at the end of the day, Zebec is an infrastructure provider, right? So we provide the rails for these bank-backed stablecoins to be successful in their mission to move finance flows on chain. So All Unity and Deutsche Bank is really just one of the first. Our team is going to Frankfurt next week and we'll be attending the Sibos conference, which is the SWIFT annual conference. There are many leading institutions out there, banks and payments companies, which we are already in talks with. So
Sibos is an event held by SWIFT. It is a screenshot of SWIFT on X announcing that it's happening. Some people think it's not a real thing. SWIFT have announced it. ISO compliant crypto firms like Chainlink, Quant, XDC, HBAR going to the Sibos event of HBAR announcing that. I'm going to show you their website, the exhibitors that are going. Take a look at this. So these are the exhibitors. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Zebec's on there as well of all the attendees that's going to Sibos. Okay, if I miss them out, you can pause it, rewind it, whatever. I'm going to scroll down right now. Okay, so A to Z, Amazon Web Service. If I miss one out, guys, just name it in the comments. Barclays BIS, Chainlink, ISO 222, Chips, cross-border interbank payment system. I've heard them. They're part of the ISO 222. Deutsche Bank. What else? European Central Bank. You got FinTech. What else? We got HBAR, ISO 222 compliant. HSBC, one of the biggest banks in Europe. I think in the UK they're the biggest. Fact check me in the comments if not. JP Morgan, Lloyd's, another bank. Mastercard. What else? Nasdaq. See, guys, loads of names going. OKX, another bank. Anchor Bank. Like, there's loads. Quant Network, ISO 222. R3, ISO 222. More banks, more institutions right here. State Bank of Vietnam, Turkey Bank, Visa. What else? XDC, ISO 222, and then the last and final one, Zebec Network. Okay, so look at all the exhibitors, guys. I just mentioned some big names there. I'm going to put this in the description and so you can check it out yourself. But Zebec and all these firms and institutions are all going to the same event, and it's on their website. You know, those are for the people that are screaming scam. Well, why the hell are they going to a Swift conference that's run by Swift, which runs our global messaging standard system? They pretty much help us send money across the world, and it's crap. I'm going to go back to the other video. Compliance is important, guys. Financial institutions and banks will not work with you unless you're at least ISO 222. So this is the importance of compliance. This is why Zebec have bought a compliance firm, Gateknock, which helps them complete their compliance roadmap. What are the crypto projects doing this? Okay, Zebec team are very active. They give lots of updates, they do a lot of spaces, they do a lot of things. Like I said, retail's not going to push this price. It's institutional money. Think of Ripple, think of XRP. That took friggin' years. These guys don't want you to get rich. The institutions will get you rich. So we're getting rich by accident. You know, the people that have done their homework, done deep dives like myself, we will be rewarded. And all the Jeets that are dopamine fried and need that quick pump for their addiction, they don't understand any of this. They don't even know ISO 222 is. They don't know what Zebec's doing. They don't know what XRP has done. You know, like I've been a long-term XRP holder in the past. I know these things take time. And when Ripple got sued by the SEC, okay, everyone's saying like, we need Coinbase, we need Binance. God, yes, I know. Okay, that would be helpful. But you know, Coinbase and Binance delisted XRP in the peak of the 2021 bull run, and they got delisted, and XRP still pumped to $1.50 even with the suppression. Once markets are bullish, once the market picks up, more rate cuts, everything's going to pump with it. So I don't think we need Coinbase and Binance to pump to friggin' 10-20 cents. The market will do that. It would help. I'm pretty sure they are focusing on that, but just let them cook. This is a utility style bull run. We're not in friggin' memes. 20 million cryptos, not all of them going to pump. Only the most important ones are going to survive. The ones that are regulated and backed. Take a look at this clip of why the ISO 222 and compliance checks are important.
How essential compliance is in the Zebec journey. Where are you guys up to that right now? And can you expand on, you know, why ISO, SOC 2, why those things matter? And I guess the doors that they've opened now that you're really going down that route.
Of course, and we've done dedicated spaces on compliance topics, as I'm sure our community is very aware of. But from what I've always said from the beginning is that compliance is really all about trust, especially as we bring on larger institutional partners and clients. Standards like SOC 2 and ISO matter more than ever as we handle greater transaction volumes around the world through Zebec. As you've probably seen, we recently announced an institutional partnership with Assure, which of course is a leading payroll company in the US. And this week we announced a partnership with an EU mica compliant stablecoin called AllUnity, which is backed by Deutsche Bank. So there are many more of these to come, but they would not be possible without the compliance standards that Zebec has achieved, and which is another reason why we doubled down on compliance this year when we purchased Gateknock, which is now our compliance brand within Zebec.
But like I said, because we have the Genius Act that came out, you know, which is the kind of the first US regulation law about crypto, because remember, crypto has been proper speculative, especially when I was around in 2020. Institutions, it was a gray area for crypto to step in because there was no regulation. But now banks and institutions are looking at how advanced blockchain technology is, especially stablecoins. It's basically digital money. Like USDC, fully pegged to the dollar, has reserved treasuries, behaves like a US dollar, fully backed. It's fully reserved. I can send anyone money across all countries of the world like that. No barriers, no 3 to 5 days, no waiting, no huge fees. Take a look at this, that Simon's confirming that banks are moving on chain.
Banking is moving on chain. particularly in the US, post-Genius Act, and with regulatory clarity, lots of institutions are now waking up to crypto. And both Zebec and Uphold have been building this future financial system on-chain for years. Our services work in tandem together, and they plug into legacy Web2 systems. Whether they are traditional banks or traditional payroll companies, this gives us the ability to scale and achieve mass adoption for crypto faster than anyone used to think was possible. So the future is really bright, and I'm extremely excited for what's next with Zebec and Uphold's partnership. Of course, we have a very exciting sports campaign this fall, among other things. So keep your eyes out for announcements from both of us.
Thank you guys for watching. If you're not in the best crypto community, please join my crypto community. It's free. We're nearly at 200 members, or probably at 200 now. You got no excuse. I'll see you guys in the next one.